Hey guys, today we have the regular Google Pixel 6, about 5 months later. Let's jump right into it. So starting off guys, when you compare it to bigger brother Pixel 6 Pro, you guys can see they're almost identical. I think they are identical. I don't see any difference. When you get to the front-facing camera, though, you definitely can tell the difference. I was pretty disappointed with the Pixel 6 performance in this department, but overall, the rear-facing pictures look great. Whether it be video or just regular pictures outside during the day, during the night, it looks on par, and in some situations, actually even better than the Pixel 6 Pro. Take a look. Even the zoom is not too bad, although the Pixel 6 Pro definitely is way better in the zoom department. It can zoom a lot further because of that sensor, that extra sensor that it has for that. So, but still, take a look. Also, these last two shots are automatically, or actually these last few shots are automatically switching over to night mode. And you can see the software is just really, really good on the Google Pixel. You can't even tell how dark it is, which is a pro and a con to some people, but I like it overall. Great image. Alright y'all, so I'm recording here. I don't know if you guys can hear my bootleg cart. I'm at Walmart. I have to push to the right to make it go straight. You know, it's like those steering wheels where you have to turn all the way this way in order for it to go straight. That's what I got. But this is a front-facing camera. Let me know what you guys think. This is the rear camera on the phone at night. As you guys can see, it's pretty stable. It does pretty good on the night. The camera is, I mean, they both look the same to me. But that is the performance right there. Let me know what you guys think. Now, in regards to performance, the Google Pixel 6 has not skipped a beat. It's running the latest Android 12, and the cool thing about these phones is they have the Google updates, which means you're going to get the latest and greatest software updates, software iterations right when they launch. I can't wait to see what Android 13 is all about, which is something to keep in mind when purchasing a phone. Not only are you going to get the best Android software, but you're probably going to get the newest software updates sooner than any other phone. That includes Samsung. It hasn't always included OnePlus, but that even includes OnePlus. That includes everybody, right? So software in regards to this right here, it's kept up to date. It's currently up to date and it doesn't miss a beat. The processor is good enough to handle day-to-day tasks, from gaming to surfing the web, anything like that. And not only that, there's no lag at all, which is becoming more common nowadays. I think most phones are not lagging anymore, but this particular phone in general feels the exact same way from when I first got it out of the box 4.5 months ago. The build quality on these is really, really nice. You have a glass back on this, and then the rails, I love how they did the matte finish on it. So even though the color scheme is not my favorite, I don't know if this is yellow or if this is green or highlighter, but even though those colors are not my favorite, I love the way that this feels. I love how it feels in your hand. I love the squared off design as well too. The buttons, the volume buttons, volume up and down are tactile. They're clicky. ASMR. The power button is great too. So in regards to the build quality, it's nice. This feels like a premium flagship. Remember, this is a $599 phone. And this feels as good as some of the high-end phones, especially some of the high-end phones from last year. This is, in my opinion, 10 out of 10. It may not be everybody's favorite color choices, but build quality is A+ in my opinion. Alright guys, this is the speaker test. So we're going to do some non-copyright music, so here we go. This is the Google Pixel 6 first. Max volume. Okay, there's this. This is the Pixel 6 Pro. Pixel 6 Pro. Alright, so in my opinion, I think the Pixel 6 Pro definitely is louder, has more bass, more fullness to it. However, the Pixel 6 speakers are still really good. I think they're both on the loudness scale. They're very, very, very close. But the Pixel 6 Pro is audibly more clear. Like, you could definitely tell the difference between the two quality-wise. But yeah, that's my take. So I give it to the Pixel 6 Pro. Now, battery life. This is actually a pretty big one. Again, kind of disappointing. There's two things that I don't like about this phone's battery. Number one is the drain. The drain just seems to it seems to be a few percentages like every 30 minutes. The drain, standby drain is pretty bad on this. The other thing that's not very good is the screen on time. You're gonna get anywhere between 4 to 5 hours of screen on time, which again, doesn't sound terrible, right? I get about 4.5, a little bit under, and I'll share with you kind of some of my results here. But it seems like the more and the heavier you use the phone, like whether it be gaming or anything like that, that starts to go down. You start to get into the 4 range, and I've had some days, I wish I would have recorded the battery stats, but I've had some days where I'm at like 3 hours and 50 minutes of screen on time, which again, not very good, especially nowadays. I think we just need to be better. Like, I'm not comparing it to something that's around its price range, but you compare 5.5 hours on the iPhone 13 mini on a miniature device, $200 price difference. You start to question whether or not it makes sense to maybe stick with this phone or pay an extra $200 for a mini that has, you know, better battery life. So again, 4 to 4.5 hours of screen on time is what I usually get. I have gotten closer to 5. Again, I use my phone pretty much as a multimedia device. I'm on YouTube, Twitch most of the time. I text, I look at different articles. I'm on YouTube Shorts, TikToks, that sort of thing. So that's the main thing that I use it for. I don't even heavy game. And that's been my experience battery life wise. Another thing on the battery that I wanted to share with you guys is the charging speeds are not very good. It takes a while, I mean over an hour to fully charge from 0 to 100, which is not super duper ridiculous slow, but it's getting there. Like, it's really not that fast. So I don't mind battery life, like 4 hours. I feel like that's what the OnePlus gives me, to be honest with you. But when your battery doesn't last long and you don't have good recharge speeds, then you're just kind of shooting yourself in both feet. So now, in regards to the display, and I'm just going to compare this to Big Brother. When you compare the two displays, yes, the Pixel 6 has the flat display that I actually prefer, but it just sucks. And in regards to what I mean by that is the refresh rate, even though it's only in 90 hertz compared to 120 hertz, it's good, it feels nice, it's not bad. But if you're used to 120 hertz, you're definitely going to be able to tell the difference, no doubt about it. 100%, you can tell the difference. The other thing that you'll notice is the bezels, and they kind of get annoying, especially as you start to look at the phone more and more and more. If you're on dark mode, you won't notice it as much, but if you use multiple phones, that's when you're going to start to realize how big those bezels are, how big the chin is, how big the forehead is compared to other phones, and just how much of a better phone the Pixel 6 is in this regard. You know, this justifies, when you're talking about screen size and display refresh rate, this justifies the upgrade from the Pixel 6 to the Pixel 6 Pro. But again, I'm not too rough on it. I still don't mind it, because you got to remember, $599 compared to $899. There's a $300 price difference, and I know they had to cut corners in some ways. So this is one of the areas where they had to cut a corner, and does it suck? It does, but it's still not bad. Not too bad, right? I still prefer it over some of the 60 hertz phones out there. But for whatever reason, when you compare this to like an iPhone 13 mini that has a 60 hertz display compared to this being a 90 hertz, it just doesn't feel that much of a difference. They both feel on par. The display on this actually reminds me a lot to the Pixel 4 XL. So if you have a Pixel 4 XL, literally almost identical performance. I can't tell the difference between those two, which I still actually have myself. So the brights are okay. It gets pretty bright in the daytime. I'm never in a situation where I'm worried about brightness. Colors are pretty accurate. The colors are vibrant. In regards to the quality of the image that you get, not too bad. But again, those little things like the bezels, the refresh rate is not as smooth as you would think, even though it's more than 60 hertz. Those are two things that just kind of irk me. Now, here is one of the big downfalls of this phone, and it's so disappointing because it is so crucial. The reception on these phones. I don't know what antenna band modem they use or what set of antennas they use on these phones, but this one, the Pixel 6 and the Pixel 6 Pro, struggle when it comes to picking up 5G, just consistent speeds in general. And sometimes you'll drop signal on this, or you'll drop 5G on this, where if you have two phones, you'll look at like a Samsung or an iPhone, you'll do a speed test and it's completely different speeds right next to each other. And it's just so disappointing because it's not a one-off situation. It's not consistent either, right? Like there's a lot of times where reception, I don't even think about it because it's great on this, but there are more times than not when I remember looking down at my phone and for whatever reason it's on LTE. Now, I don't know if the other phones are just using like a placebo effect where it displays 5G but the speeds are similar to LTE, but I do notice that this phone tends to be slower whether it be YouTube, whether it be things like that, whenever it pops up as LTE. And it just sucks, it's annoying, and like that is the last thing we should ever be worried about, honestly. So that is one big major downfall to either Pixel phone, is the antenna bands, and you will notice it guaranteed 100%. The other thing that sucks, but still you can kind of get used to it on these phones, is the fingerprint scanner. And I think we've all already talked about this. We've dragged Google through the dirt. They suck, okay? Straight up, they suck. There's no way around it. I don't care how you sugarcoat it, they suck. To make them less sucky, what you have to do is you just put a film screen protector. Sorry, tempered glass. Honestly, at this rate, it's not working good on some of the other phones. So I'll give Google kind of a pass on this. If you use a film screen protector on these phones, your fingerprint will work, I would say 90% of the time. 90% of the time, it will work. Of course, it doesn't work that time, but you get my point. It's not as fast as some of the other ones, not even close, not as responsive as some of the other ones, but it will work really good. But they need to fix that in the next iteration. Come on, Google. Like, we should be way past that. Disappointing. Now, with that being said, I know I was really tough on the Google Pixel 6 today, but look, when you wear the Google name, I don't care if you're a budget version of the flagship that they have, you gotta bring it, right? So where do I rank this, right? Well, as we saw, camera's great. Battery life is, the Google UI is great. The updates are great. The assistant and just the smart features, whether it be voice recognition, text-to-speech, the performance of that, the Google Assistant, all of that those are my favorite things about that phone, is the Google Assistant and the camera, the rear-facing camera in this particular phone. So with that being said, how does that rank? How does that stack up? Well, one thing we have to remember is this is only $599. And there have been multiple times already that I've seen it $100 off. It was on Black Friday, and then most recently there was just one earlier this year where it was $100 off. So you're talking about a $500 phone that starts at 128 gigabytes. Now, if you think about this, how does this stack up against other phones within that price range? Now you're in the iPhone SE territory. iPhone SE, 128 gigs, is about the same price, $479 compared to $499 if you find this on some type of deal, some type of promotion. So you start to question, what do you go with? Well, if you're an Android guy and you want top tier performance, top tier rear facing camera, don't mind the display, and don't mind battery life, then this is the phone for you. So I'd say it ranks pretty highly. If you're looking to get that Pixel camera experience without paying $1,000 for a multiple phone, some people want two phones. Some people have to have an iPhone as their day-to-day phone. Trust me, I get it. I'm there. It just so happens iPhone's a great phone this year, but if it wasn't, for whatever reason, like it has been these past years and years and years, in my opinion, what would be a good secondary phone that's not going to kill your budget, really? And I think the Google Pixel 6 that's exactly where it fits in. Or what if you're a teenager and you're trying to get a smartphone and you want something that's nice, that's good, has a good Android experience, what do you go with? In that price range, I think you start to limit down and you start to look at, you're either gonna get a OnePlus, you're either gonna get a Pixel 6, or you're gonna have to settle for a mid-tier Samsung phone. And I think when you compare it to those types of options, that's when the Pixel 6 starts to shine. Especially as you start to find this on promo, especially as the new phone, the new Pixel starts to come out, you're probably gonna get even more discounts on this. I've seen carrier discounts on this, so there's a lot of different promotions that can be had and can be said about this phone. So in regards to that mid-range price range, which I think it's no longer a phone under $500. I think that mid-range is now $700. You really have two options within this price range. You know, that $500 to $700 price range. It's either gonna be the Google Pixel 6, or you're gonna have to shell out an extra $100 for an iPhone 13 mini, or hopefully it goes on sale. That, or you go with the OnePlus, but in my opinion, I think the Google Pixel 6 is gonna be the best bang for your buck, and I think that's kind of where it ranks. So with that being said, guys, that was a quick review. I know there's a lot that I threw at you guys, but that was a quick review of the Google Pixel 6. That's my take. If you guys liked what you guys saw, please do not forget to like, comment, subscribe, share it with a friend. We are very close to getting to 500 subscribers, and I can't wait to make that special announcement. Hopefully that's tomorrow. But with that being said, that is it. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out, guys.